Vic was a retired robotics engineer who had made his fortune designing guidance chips for combat drones. Outwardly, he had everything: a big house, wealth, a family. But inside that house lived silence, tension, and an odd kind of arrangement that kept his marriage from falling apart. His wife, Melinda Van Allen, was waiting on the stairs when Vic came home one evening. She looked at him in a way that wasn't love, not even anger. Just something in between, a stare that reminded him of how far apart they had grown. Their daughter Trixie was inside with Chelsea, the babysitter. Unlike Melinda, Vic adored Trixie. They had a bond that made him feel alive, while Melinda often seemed irritated by their child's energy. That night, Melinda asked Vic to help her pick out a dress. She claimed she wanted his opinion, but both knew the truth. She just wanted to be looked at. Their marriage wasn't one of passion anymore. It was an arrangement. To avoid divorce, Vic silently allowed Melinda to take lovers, as long as she didn't abandon the family. Their friends knew about it too, often laughing at the understanding between them. On the surface, Vic played it cool, but deep inside, jealousy was eating him alive, while Melinda complained about his lack of fire. Soon, the couple attended a party. Melinda was already drinking and, without hesitation, brought along her latest lover, Joel Dash, a young musician. Vic stood and watched while Melinda hugged Joel at the entrance, her smile glowing in a way it never did for him. His stomach tightened, but he said nothing. Later by the pool, he saw them kiss. Joel's hands wrapped around Melinda, and when she noticed Vic watching, she didn't even flinch. She almost wanted him to see. Mary, a mutual friend, came to stand beside Vic. "You know Joel is here because of her," she whispered. Vic tried to brush it off, claiming they were just friends, but Mary shook her head. "They're not friends, and everyone knows it. You love Melinda, but don't make yourself look foolish." Grant, another friend, passed by and told Vic his wife was drunk. On stage, Melinda suddenly grabbed a microphone and sang a song. She announced it was for Vic, her husband. For a moment, he couldn't help but smile. At least she thought of him in front of the crowd, even if only for a drunken performance. Later that night, Joel approached Vic. The young man praised him, calling him the coolest husband ever for tolerating such a relationship. Vic asked Joel if he knew about Martin McRae, a man who had mysteriously gone missing. Joel nodded. That's when Vic leaned in and told him, with chilling calmness, that Martin had once looked at his wife the same way Joel did, and Vic killed him. Joel's face went pale. He stammered, asking if Melinda knew. Vic said no, and he preferred to keep it that way. Joel realized he was being threatened. He left the party in a rush, despite Melinda trying to stop him. On the way home, Melinda confronted Vic. "What did you say to Joel?" she demanded. She had seen them talking. Vic lied, saying he said nothing, but she didn't believe him. Back home, Chelsea was still with Trixie. Melinda drunkenly slipped part of her dress off in front of them, careless and provoking. Vic tried to make her understand how inappropriate it was, but she brushed him off, saying he was suffocating her, then walked upstairs. Vic apologized to Chelsea and later found comfort in his garage, tending to his snails, his one true passion. Watching them crawl calmly across the glass, he smiled. The next morning, Melinda mocked him in front of Trixie, telling her that her father used to make bombs. Trixie defended him, proudly saying he made computer chips, not bombs. That little moment of support between father and daughter warmed Vic's heart. On the school run, Vic met Kristen Peterson, one of their friends. She told him that rumors were spreading, that people believed he really was killing Melinda's lovers. Vic laughed it off, calling it a joke, but Kristen warned him to be careful. Even Jonas Fernandez and Grant later hinted that everyone knew about the threat he had made to Joel. At home, Melinda exploded in anger. "You threatened Joel, and Martin was my friend too. I miss him. You can't joke about killing people." Tears streamed down her face. Vic finally admitted it was a mistake, that he shouldn't have told Joel such a thing. He apologized, but Melinda demanded more. "You'll apologize to Joel yourself. I've invited him for dinner." Dinner was tense. Joel arrived visibly nervous, especially since only Vic and Trixie were there at first. Vic cooked shellfish, only for Joel to reveal he was allergic. The atmosphere was heavy until Melinda arrived, cheerful and tipsy. She spoke of visiting Joel someday, ignoring Vic's tight expression. She even mocked her husband for never drinking, saying she wished he was a normal person. Vic replied coldly, "If I were normal, Joel wouldn't be here now." That night, Vic tucked Trixie into bed. She asked why her mother always invited strange men into their home. Vic struggled to answer, but told her gently that Melinda was just different. Trixie admitted she didn't like it. Downstairs, Melinda drank more and dismissed Vic's efforts, saying he didn't need to do chores. Meanwhile, Joel lingered. Vic handed him a drink, and Joel finally confronted him. "Aren't you going to apologize for saying you killed Martin?" he asked nervously. Vic stared back and answered calmly, "Why should I? I did kill him." With a hammer, Joel froze. Vic guided him to an Uber and sent him away before he could spend more time with Melinda. The next morning, the television blared a shocking headline. Martin McRae's body had been found. Rumors of Vic's confessions and strange behaviors spread quickly through their circle of friends. One man in particular, Don Wilson, a noir novelist, grew intrigued. He wondered if Vic's dark jokes about killing men who touched his wife were just drunken humor, or truth hiding behind a calm smile. At a social gathering, Don's wife, Kelly Wilson, complimented Vic on Melinda's beauty. Vic surprised everyone by asking Kelly to dance. She agreed, and for the first time in years, Vic moved gracefully on the floor. Melinda and her friends stared in shock. They had never seen him dance before. Vic enjoyed the moment, laughing lightly with Kelly while Melinda's eyes burned with jealousy. On the ride home, Melinda broke the silence. "You looked like you were having fun with Kelly." Vic simply replied, "I did." That small admission unsettled her. The next day, they went together to watch Trixie's football game. Melinda grew irritated, complaining that the other girls were too big and strong compared to her daughter. While Vic tried to focus on cheering for Trixie, he noticed something else. Melinda had cut a check for $3,000 to a piano teacher named Charlie Delisle. Suspicion gnawed at him. Soon after, he followed Charlie, watching him play piano passionately, while Melinda gazed at him with admiration. That night, she came home late, claiming she had been to dinner with a new friend. Vic asked her directly to stop seeing Charlie. He also mentioned the news that Martin McRae's body had been discovered and said he was sorry. The look on Melinda's face told him she realized what he had done. Trying to soften the atmosphere, Vic bought Trixie a puppy. She loved it, but asked her father quietly, "Is Mom okay?" Vic forced a smile and said she was fine. On his way back, he spotted Charlie holding flowers. Later, he found those flowers in his own home, left carelessly by Melinda. Rage bubbled inside and he tossed them into the trash. At a gathering, Charlie performed on piano and Vic, holding back his anger, still managed to compliment him. But inside, jealousy was tightening its grip. Melinda's nights with Charlie grew more frequent. One morning, she stumbled home to find Vic waiting on a chair, sleepless, staring at her. He asked where she had been. She gave no answer. He asked about the $3,000 check. Again, silence. When pressed, she taunted him cruelly, suggesting she could describe her nights with Charlie in detail if he wanted. She accused him of being jealous. Charlie was eventually invited to a pool party hosted by Jonas Fernandez, another of their friends. There, Vic watched Melinda openly make love to the piano teacher in the water. Rain suddenly poured, forcing everyone inside. Moments later, screams echoed. The guests found Charlie floating lifeless in the pool. Police arrived, questioning everyone. Melinda, without hesitation, accused Vic of killing him. Don Wilson's suspicions deepened. Don even hired a private investigator, David Risigliani, who pretended to be a therapist. But Kelly Wilson, secretly disturbed by her husband's obsession, warned Vic. Armed with this knowledge, Vic confronted Don during a Wilson family lunch, accusing him of scheming and prying into his marriage. As the dust settled from that drama, Melinda reconnected with Tony Cameron, an old college flame. Their flirtatious banter drove Vic into silent fury. He overheard Melinda whispering to Tony about moving to Brazil. That night, Vic invited Tony on a drive. They went deep into the woods, to a rocky hiking spot that Vic and Melinda once loved. Without warning, Vic shoved Tony off the cliff. The body fell, landing among stones. Calmly, Vic dragged the corpse and sank it in a creek. Later, he returned home to find Melinda packing a picnic for Trixie at that very same hiking spot. They went together, and during the trip, Vic gave Melinda a small album. Photographs he had secretly taken of her over the years, a testament to his strange, quiet love. From the shore, he noticed something chilling. Tony's body wasn't fully submerged. Its outline was faintly visible beneath the water. That night, he offered to return in the morning to fetch Melinda's scarf, which she had lost there. Melinda, sensing something, told Don Wilson about it. Yet that evening, she surprised Vic by inviting him to share her bed. At dawn, Vic went back to the creek to push Tony's body deeper into the water. As he struggled with the corpse, Don appeared. He had followed him, finally catching Vic red-handed. Panicked, Don fled in his car, intending to alert the police. Vic chased on his bike, cutting through the brush to head him off. Suddenly, he tumbled out of the trees, crashing into Don's path. In a strange twist of fate, Don swerved, not to hit Vic but to save him. The car lost control, careened off a cliff, and exploded on impact. Don was dead. Back at the house, Melinda found Tony's wallet hidden in one of Vic's snail tanks, proof that her husband knew exactly where Tony had gone. She began packing, ready to leave with Trixie, but her daughter stood in her way. With innocence and defiance, Trixie begged her to stay. That night, Melinda sat in silence thinking. Finally, she burned Tony's identification documents, erasing the last trace of him. When Vic returned home, she was still there, waiting. And to not be waiting for your binge to stop, I recommend you click the recaps on the right next. Subscribe for future uploads and consider dropping a like if you enjoyed this video. Grab your popcorn, enjoy yourself, and see you soon, my friend.